Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 3rd of June, 2019, to talk everything that took place tonight on Monday Night Raw. Now, I actually expected more from, the show tonight. I thought that more would have happened leading into Super Showdown. Maybe they would have told us even more people that were going to be in the Battle Royal. We did learn that the Usos, the Revival, and the Miz, they may have said a couple of the names, but I didn't catch it. And it looks like the stream may be down. Let's see. Let's see if we refresh this. It looks like we're good on my end. Let's just double check this. And yeah, I think we're... Are you kidding me right now? It says we're live on my end, but for some reason, YouTube is not wanting to connect again. I've actually had some YouTube issues. Are we back live? Nope. Some say we're live. Some say we're not live. It's not showing me that I'm live. Ah, crap. See, some are saying it's online. Some are saying it's not. For me, it's not showing that I'm online. Here we go. I think we're back. Hey guys, can you hear me? Let me know in the live chat if you can hear me. We're back on. I don't know what happened. I've actually had some issues. YouTube, Google itself has been having issues where yesterday, a big news story was that a lot of Google services were down, and today I've had some issues where I would go to upload a video, and then it would automatically set the video to private and all this stuff. So YouTube itself is having some issues. It's been having issues with the live setup for a couple weeks now. So hopefully everything's good. We're back live, all good to go, talking tonight's Monday Night Raw. I almost thought I was going to have to pre-tape this and put it out later, but hey, we're good. We're good. Before we get going, I do want to state, if you guys want to support us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, you could do so in a new way by becoming a member. Becoming a member of Pro Wrestling Unlimited's YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to our homepage, our YouTube homepage, and click join. Once you join, you will get access to badges like you do see with Kristen McNutt and Wayne Montgomery in the live chat. You'll get exclusive emojis that you can also use in the live chat. Plus, you'll get exclusive content and early access content. Like right now, Nick and I did record a video last night that got put up early this morning for members only. That just talks about things that we think could maybe help save the WWE. Get them back on track. Right now, that video is out for members only. So if you want to become a member, just click that join button. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. And I had a couple people ask me, do I have to have YouTube Premium for that? No. All you got to do is join us right here on Pro Wrestling Unlimited. If you want to support us, you can by becoming a member. Again, you will get special badges next to your name in live chats. You will also get exclusive access to the emojis that we do have, like the Nick emoji that I just put up on the screen here, and many others. We'll also be switching them out here and there. Say we're reviewing Raw, there'll be a Raw emoji. Say we're reviewing Super Showdown, there'll be a Super Showdown emoji. We'll keep it to the times. So with that, enough of that jibber jabbering. Let's talk Monday Night Raw. Jeffrey New, you still got part 2 coming. I think part 2 should be out Wednesday, maybe. Should have part 2 edited up by Wednesday. But with that, tonight's Monday Night Raw kicked off with Roman Reigns coming down to the ring. Corey Graves reminded us about the wild card rule being in effect with Roman Reigns here on Raw, even though he's a SmackDown superstar. As Reigns entered, the announcers ran down Stephanie McMahon's comments from during the week and plugged Brock Lesnar's possible cash-in tonight. They cut to a camera shot of a loading dock saying that they're waiting for Brock Lesnar to appear. Reigns had come out for his match. It was going to be him and the Usos taking on Drew McIntyre and the Revival. But before that could happen, Shane McMahon would actually come out instead, and he had Mike Rome do the best in the world entrance for him. I think it was Renee Young may have said that was a little obsessive or something, or not obsessive, but a little much or something along those lines. So going forward, Shane McMahon just talked about how he's going to beat Roman Reigns this Friday at Super Showdown. He said that he's going to shut him up. He's going to put him in the corner, and he's going to jump coast to coast on Roman Reigns. Reigns told him to shut up, told him that he was amused, but then told him, you can't even get me down on the mat, because Shane was like, maybe I'll pin you, maybe I'll choke you out, because you've never tapped out. He told Shane that you can't do anything by yourself, that's why you need Drew McIntyre by your side. Reigns promised to beat Shane and then go on to Stomping Grounds in just a couple of weeks and beat Drew McIntyre. So the first match for Stomping Ground has been announced as Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. McIntyre then ended up coming out. McIntyre talked about Stomping Ground, so they really hammered in that this match is taking place at Stomping Ground. He then threatened to take Roman out right here, right now. He said, maybe I don't even need my partners for this match tonight. And the Revival then attacked Roman Reigns from behind. McIntyre and Shane ran down to the ring. Well, more marched down to the ring, before the Usos ran down to make the save, which actually got a pretty good reaction from the crowd. And then the match did begin. So the one interesting thing is they were talking all this stomping grounds. And then you go on Twitter and everyone's like, what's Stomping Grounds? Now, if you haven't been paying attention, they have been plugging Stomping Grounds, the pay-per-view, for the last 2 weeks on Raw and SmackDown. So for all the people that were like, what's Stomping Grounds? Is Stomping Grounds a pay-per-view? Is it a network special? What is it? It's a pay-per-view from Washington State. I can't remember what city it's going to be in. Now it's going to bug me because I know what it is. It starts with a T. If anybody knows in the live chat, let me know what city Stomping Ground is going to be in. It's a city that starts with a T in Washington State, but for some reason, it's slipping my mind. Anyways, so the Usos take out the Revival with dives, and they break to a commercial about 45 seconds into the match. After commercial break, the Revival are in control, but Jimmy Uso quickly got a hot tag. There we go. Jason Gaines, Tacoma. Stomping Grounds is taking place in Tacoma, Washington, in the Tacoma Dome. Thank you guys, everybody in the live chat. Always keeping me accurate. We got the hot tag. Jimmy Uso did and took out Dash Wilder with an enziguri. He attacked McIntyre and Scott Dawson on the apron, and then Wilder took him down with a drop kick. The crowd chanted, "We want Roman," which was very weird, as McIntyre was working over Jimmy Uso. They go to a commercial break. When we come back, Reigns was actually in the ring. We missed the hot tag sequence, but whatever. Reigns gave McIntyre a Superman punch, but Jimmy hit Wilder. Then Jimmy hit Wilder with a super kick. Reigns followed it up with a Superman punch of his own. Shane then pulled Jay off of the top rope, so Reigns went after him. McIntyre wiped out Reigns with a Claymore kick. The Revival took out Jimmy on the outside and with a Shatter Machine. McIntyre then hit the Claymore kick on Jay and pinned him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, picking up the victory. After the match, Shane McMahon directed traffic. He was the cult leader, I guess you could say, as the Revival gave Reigns a Shatter Machine, and then McIntyre gave him another Claymore kick. Heels pick up the victory. They lay out Shane, they lay out Reigns, and then Shane hit a spear on Roman Reigns. Shane didn't do much. He was already sweating buckets. And then for some reason, the crowd started chanting, Shane's adopted. Shane's adopted. And I'm like, what? That makes no sense for anything. So I can't say I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon at all. But, hey, we'll see what kind of a train wreck this match is. Roman's going to do his best to try and, what's the word I'm looking for? Carry Shane McMahon in this match. And next up, we do get Miz TV. They first show that Lance Armstrong and Matthew McConaughey are sitting ringside. So Miz comes out for Miz TV, and he gets in the ring. The first thing he says is, all right, all right, all right. And then does his little spiel. Welcome to the most must-see talk show in all of WWE history. It's Miz TV. I think that's like kind of the line. I don't know. So Miz brought up that Rollins' scheduled title defense on Friday was against Baron Corbin and asked about Brock Lesnar. Rollins was his guest, and Rollins wondered if Lesnar would even show up tonight to the building. He said that we'd have to believe that Paul Heyman was telling the truth when a lot of times Paul Heyman doesn't tell the truth. Miz would agree and said that the last time Heyman told the truth was never. Crowd then chanted, "Burn it down." As they cut to the back, an SUV arrived at the building, and out came Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Heyman told him, "Let's cash it in." And they started to walk into the building. Michael Cole let us know that the way they're walking, that's to out here. And then they stopped. And they walked elsewhere. So the cameras cut back to Rollins, and he was looking like all kinds of like, why couldn't he just, like, he was like perplexed. The crowd starts chanting, "Burn it down" again. We played his music and ended the segment. Very nothing Miz TV. Miz got one question off. Seth kind of answered it. He said, "I hope Brock shows up." Brock then showed up, and then they just ended it. So next up, Lucha House Party came out. They were supposed to have a match, but after they made their entrance, Lars Sullivan came out. He attacked them and was getting the better of it, but Lucha House Party fought back. They each hit him with drop kicks, and then all three hit drop kicks at once to knock him out of the ring. He seethed in anger. Excuse me. In the locker room, the Iconics were picking on Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss showed up and asked if they should be off somewhere else eating a bloomin' onion. Peyton Royce said no, and told them that she'd beat Cross later on in their match tonight with her wifey Billie Kay by her side. They left. Bliss then told Nikki Cross that she didn't blame her for siding with Becky Lynch and knew that nobody around here really liked her. Cross said that Bliss has always been kind to her and called her a friend. Bliss then offered to come down with her to the ring tonight and be in her corner. They then plugged The Undertaker coming out and an arm wrestling match, or arm wrestling contest, whatever you want to call it, between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. So out next came Becky Lynch. She ran down the busy schedule that she's had, including winning the title at WrestleMania. Lynch said that she's never been more content in her life. However, being content is not a good thing, and she thinks being content is why she lost the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. She said a fighter like her should never be content. Contentment gets you hurt, it gets you passed over, and it gets you beat. She said, yes, I beat Lacey Evans, but then Lacey Evans came and helped Charlotte Flair beat me. She said that there was no woman who could hold her down on her own and issued a warning to Lacey Evans. Evans then came out and talked for a while until Charlotte interrupted. She basically said, I'm not going to let, because it's weird. Over the last couple of weeks, she would say, I'm not going to let a man like you tell me what to do and run this division. But tonight she said, I'm not going to let a woman like you run my division. I'm going to win that title back. So Charlotte would come out. Charlotte said she beat Lynch to become a 9-time women's champion. Lynch then said, well, where's your title now? Evans said that Charlotte struts like a peacock and called her daddy's girl. Starved for attention. Charlotte then said that she struts like that because she was already more than halfway to beating her dad's record. Evans warned her to get out of the ring, and then the two started to brawl. We actually then got a 10-minute match between Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair. Crowd chanted, we want Becky, as Becky was standing at ringside throughout the match. After a commercial break, Charlotte gave Evans a big boot, an exploder suplex. Evans missed what was probably supposed to be like a slingshot elbow attempt is what it looked like, and then Charlotte gave her a backbreaker and a clothesline. Charlotte went for the figure 8, but Evans actually pushed her off, which took a little longer than it should have, and then they collided with crossbody attempts. Going forward, the crowd was actually kind of behind Charlotte Flair here. And then suddenly she got yanked out of the ring for a disqualification. Lynch gave Evans a manhandle slam, which is her version of the rock bottom. The crowd was mostly dead, but I think if you had to say who were they more for throughout the match, I think it was Charlotte. But for the most part, this crowd did not care about this 10-minute match that ended up ending in a DQ. Yes, Justin Zurita, the match went roughly right around the 10-minute mark. Joe Decker, yes, we actually put out a video yesterday stating that Lars Sullivan will be doing an interview on SmackDown. They then aired a clip of The Undertaker's debut at the 1999 Survivor Series, and they always have to get in that line, "Look at that ham hock!" So next up, Rey Mysterio would come out to vacate the United States Championship. Came down to the ring with his left arm in a sling. He said that he's been in this company a long time, and this business is in his blood. He said that now includes his son Dominic, who has been training, and he wants Dominic to carve out his own path. Mysterio wanted to set an example and do the right thing, but before he could vacate the championship, he was interrupted by Samoa Joe. Joe then heard the word champion and thought that was his cue to come out. He goes, was I a little early, Ray? I heard champion, so I came out. He said that Mysterio wasn't relinquishing the title tonight because of an injury. It was because he really didn't win the title at Money in the Bank because, Joe's shoulder was up. Mysterio said that he's won the championship. He's won championships for years throughout various injuries. He was man enough to do that. And he's man enough to do this. He then said, I'm here to relinquish my United States Championship to Samoa Joe. So does that mean he gave the title back to Joe? I was a little confused on that line. Again, let me read it to you again, and I quote, I'm here to relinquish my United States Championship to Samoa Joe. Chris Gomez, there's no truth in that whatsoever. I mean, I'll read his comment in the live chat. It says, I heard a story of Rey Mysterio, and he wanted every other time a championship had... Wait, sorry, the chat's going too fast and I missed it. He said, I heard a story on Rey Mysterio. He wanted to lose his mask against his son in a pay-per-view or something. Yeah, I never heard that once. I don't know where you heard that from. But whoever you heard that from is not a reputable source because that was never a thing. So Rey Mysterio said that weird line about giving the title back to Joe, and then Joe laid him out. Put him in the Coquina clutch. A bunch of referees and officials like Jamie Noble ran down to get Joe off, and then Joe left with the belt. So I guess Joe's the champion again. After all that, Joe just keeps the belt. So going forward, they announced Ricochet versus Cesaro yet again taking place tonight. Cesaro and Ricochet cut quick pre-tape promos hyping up their match. We then got an arm wrestling contest between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. They set it up in the middle of the ring, ready to go, and Lashley smacked Strowman. He was pissed off Strowman, but officials got between them, and Lashley egged him on. They set up the table again in the middle of the ring, and Lashley backed off. They chalked up their hands and got started going. Strowman did end up winning the arm wrestling contest. Lashley then hurled some of the chalk in the face of Braun Strowman, picked him up on his shoulder, and gave him a Braun Strowman-style power slam right in the middle of the ring. Bobby Lashley's a beast. This was all right. I guess it kind of builds up to big, powerful, strong men for their match. I guess the thing's supposed to be two powerhouses clash in a super showdown. Chris Gomez, I'm not going to read that comment, but I'm going to tell you that that's one of the types of channels that just states any little thing they hear, true or not, confirmed or not confirmed, rumored or not rumored, false or real. And sometimes I've seen them make stuff up. I'm not going to read it out because I don't want to call them out and give them attention. If you're in the live chat, you can read that. But yeah, that championship change-ish kind of thing that happened on a Sunday. It was the video where Carmella and Truth were at a golf course. Truth went to go grab a club. He was attacked by Jinder Mahal. Jinder rolled him up, pinned him. Jinder then got rolled up, pinned, and Truth left with the title. Clever, interesting, funny. I liked it. So going forward, we got Nikki Cross versus Peyton Royce. This match went about 6 minutes long. Royce caught Cross immediately with a spinning kick to the face, and Cross came up bleeding from the mouth. Cross eventually came back with elbows, forearms, and a bulldog for 2. As this was happening, some guy delivered coffee to Alexa Bliss because that's her new thing. If you haven't seen her new shirt, it's a Starbucks-inspired, kind of logo deal. Going forward, Alexa Bliss had her coffee, and that plays into the match going forward. Royce was annoyed that she had coffee delivered, and then Bliss flicked some at her. Royce kicked the cup out of her hand, and the coffee spilled everywhere. Billie Kay then pushed Bliss down into the coffee spill, which stained her white pants. Royce then laughed at her. This then gave Nikki Cross the opportunity to hit her with a swinging, hanging neck breaker from the top rope-ish kind of deal. She was hanging from the top rope, swinging neck breaker, pinfall 1, 2, 3. Nikki Cross victorious. So crowd popped huge for this victory. Cross then brought Alexa in the ring. She tried to hold Alexa's arm up in celebration, and Alexa was just more perturbed than anything. As they got out of the ring, Nikki made sure that Alexa didn't slip on the coffee spill. She then checked her butt to make sure her butt was okay. And she said, yeah, her butt's fine. And make sure there's not a big stain on her butt. So as we go into the third hour, Seth Rollins came out, spoke briefly, and then Lesnar's music hits. Lesnar didn't show. Rollins said that he was tired of these games, and he said, come out now, Lesnar. And instead, Corbin came out. He called himself the Dream Crusher. He said that he was going to take the title from Rollins at Super Showdown. He also said, hey, I retired Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, and I'm not opposed to retiring you this Friday. So this then led to the two to start battling. Rollins hit Corbin like 3 or 4 times with the actual microphone. Finally, Corbin got thrown to the outside. Rollins then hit him with a dive. Rollins looked like he was going to go for a second dive when Brock Lesnar's music hit again. This distracted Rollins, and this gave Corbin time to gain his bearings back about him, jump back in the ring, hit the end of days, and lay out the Universal Champion. So then Lesnar's music hits again, and this time he actually comes out. Him, Heyman, and a referee. So Lesnar gets right into the ring. Heyman's got the briefcase, and Lesnar hits Rollins with the low blow. He also brought a steel chair down with him, and he hit Rollins with the steel chair a couple times before hitting him with a German suplex. Lesnar then hit him again with the chair, and Heyman goes, all right, let's cash it in. Let's cash it in now. And Lesnar goes, not yet. So he picks up Seth and hits him with an F5, hits him with an F5 on the outside, beating him down, and Heyman's got this look on his face like, dude, just cash it in already. Let's just go. And Brock's like, no. He beats him down a little more, hits him over and over and over and over. Brian Ramos, I'm not eating anything, so screw you. So he hits him over and over and over with a steel chair. Finally, Heyman's like, what are you doing? Just cash it in. And Brock goes, Friday. I promise them now. And it's like, what? Lesnar picks up the belt, laid it over Rollins, and gets out of the ring. So as he gets out of the ring, he takes the briefcase from Heyman. No longer a boombox briefcase, I may add. And he then gets in the ring and he smacks Rollins over and over with a briefcase. Seth is bleeding from his back. And yeah, that's it. Brock left and he said Friday. So many do now believe that it could be that this was all a swerve. Brock is not going to cash in on, what's his name? Seth Rollins. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. On Seth Rollins. And he's going to cash in on Kofi instead. Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. Joe Decker, I mentioned that the first thing he did was hit him with a low blow. Yeah, Brian Ramos, I listen to everything Meltzer puts out, and I never once heard him say Ray's going to lose his mask to his son. I literally listen to every Meltzer podcast. He never once said that, to my knowledge. So if you have like the exact date and show of that, let me know in the chat. So here's my thing. I can honestly see them going to Super Showdown. Brock yet again teases a cash-in, and it doesn't happen. Not a failed cash-in. Just I'm going to cash in, never mind. I can honestly see that happening. Henry McKenna. Sasha Banks wears hair extensions and dyes her hair all the time so she can have her hair black one day and purple the next. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, it's like the whole Brock thing. I would not be surprised 1 ounce if Brock doesn't even cash in on Friday. So going forward, they put Roman Reigns on. We're going to keep that. Wayne, nice one, Wayne. So they put Seth Rollins on a stretcher. They had him in a neck brace and all of that. And the EMTs took him away. After the break, they took Rollins to the back, put him in an ambulance. Becky was with him. Lynch went with him in the ambulance. And the announcer spoke solemnly about Rollins' condition. Then the crowd chanted for The Undertaker in the background. And I have no clue what you guys are talking about. You're bringing up Sean's view and me. I have no clue what you guys are talking about. So it's weird because I hope they don't do an injury angle where Seth can't go to Saudi Arabia. I hope that's not what this was all about. Because later on, I'm going to fast forward here. Later on in the show, Charlie Caruso interviewed Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin goes, yeah, I'm going to win that title because Seth may have some cracked ribs. He may have multiple cracked and broken, bruised ribs. So that gives me a very good chance to win the belt. So now my thing is, hopefully, Rollins isn't, quote-unquote, injured so bad that he can't travel. We'll see. Then we got Firefly Funhouse. What do I have to say about this? The theme of the episode was exercise. Bray Wyatt encouraged a pig puppet to take better care of itself. A devil Vince McMahon puppet was then seen. The devil himself. Vince McMahon puppet. They always say, you sell your soul to the devil. Vince McMahon. They then did a dance sequence. Muscle Man Bray Wyatt. Bray got himself in better shape, so now they got to use it. I think there was a Husky Harris reference in here somewhere as well. I kind of heard. Yeah. If you missed it, I'd say go rewatch it. It was actually a little humorous. So then we got one of the best things on the show. It was the Triple H, Randy Orton face-to-face, where by the end of this thing, both guys were just, they couldn't contain themselves. So Triple H came out first and was greeted with NXT chants. Orton came out and the crowd chanted for RKO. Hunter said that all we know was these segments, we know what all these segments are about. He could talk all the crap he wants about Orton. Maybe there's some psychological reasoning that you talk crap about your opponent. But they have both been around a long time and have already said basically everything they can bad about the other. Hunter didn't want to waste anyone's time, so he kept it nice and short. He said he's gotten in Orton's face. He got in Orton's face and basically said, I'm going to whip your ass on Friday. Orton goes, well, I'm not Batista. Called himself the Legend Killer. Said that he would gladly add another notch to his belt on Friday. Hunter said that he watched that hype video over and over for their match, and one thing rang true. They said that they would put the pressure on Orton and that he would become one of the greats. And he did. He said that Randy Orton may be one of the best of all time in WWE. Hunter said that a lot of people have tried to put him down, yet where are they? He's still here and they're not. And Orton would be no different. Orton then wanted Hunter to promise him one thing as he was getting out of the ring. He said, whoa, Hunter, promise me one thing. When you step into this ring on Friday to face me, remember to retrieve your balls from Stephanie's purse. And the crowd popped so hard for this, both men could not contain the laughter. So Hunter gets back in the ring and goes, great idea. They're just so big. It's just such a burden to carry them around. Maybe I got to put them in my carry-on bag and stick it up in the overhead bin or something. He's like, but you would never know about that, never having any. Hunter then said that he'd see him in Jeddah. Hunter then literally threw the mic at Randy Orton. And Orton was like just laughing his ass off. It's two guys. They're buds. You can tell they're buds. They're just throwing lines to make each other laugh. It was actually, I liked it because there was like a realness to it. Because I can literally see that there's no hatred here. It's just a friendly rivalry kind of thing. It's not like the Batista thing where it was of the bad guy versus the good guy. This is more of, hey, we fought a lot. Now we want to just see who the better man is. And the whole line about make sure you get your balls back from Stephanie's bag. From everything I heard of Randy Orton, I literally bet you he's said that to Triple H backstage one time, and they were just like, let's use it. Let's use it. So backstage, Charlie Caruso interviewed Corbin, like I said earlier. He said he wasn't concerned. He said that he may have some broken ribs. He wanted to thank Brock Lesnar for doing him a favor, and that was all. We then got a 9-minute match between Ricochet and Cesaro, and these two never fail to amuse. Not amuse, entertain is actually the better word. Ricochet was all over Cesaro early. After a quick commercial break, Cesaro was back in control. Ricochet made a brief comeback, but Cesaro cut him off with a superplex. They did a bunch of counter spots, playing off of last week's match, including Ricochet going for a code red, but Cesaro turning it into a big swing. Cesaro then followed it up with an uppercut for a near fall. Ricochet then came back with a couple of knee strikes, but Cesaro rolled through a crossbody attempt into a pin for 2. Ricochet tried to roll up, but only got 2. They then spun into a schoolboy for another 2 count. Cesaro then attacked Ricochet after the match when Ricochet finally rolled him up for the victory. Cesaro then goes under the ring. He's looking for a weapon. He grabs the ladder, says, I don't want the ladder, and he grabs a table. And when he pulls this table out from under the ring, freaking 24/7 champion R-Truth is actually laying on the table. So he's pulling this table out, and Truth is stiff as a board, laying on the table, right? Like, nobody can see me if I don't move, kind of thing. But Cesaro pulls the table out, and Ricochet drop kicks Cesaro, and then a bunch of B-level wrestlers run down. They all surrounded Truth on the side of the ring that he was on, the side where the Timekeeper's area is. Cedric Alexander ran down and took everybody out with a dive, and Truth jumped into the ring. Truth was laughing at everybody, getting basically taken out on their own accord. And then who was behind him? But Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick with his wanted posters. But what happens? Drake Maverick didn't get no offense in. Drake Maverick didn't do anything other than get a super kick from Carmella. His papers went flying. Carmella jumped on Truth back. They jumped over the barricade and they ran off once again. Truth is still your champion. So Taker's music hits after a commercial break with 5 minutes left in the show. He came out, sauntered down to the ring, and there was 2 minutes left in the show. Crowd chanted for Undertaker. He was a big draw here tonight. And he basically said, and I quote, the whole minute and a half promo. Do you ever wonder what happens when you come face to face with death for the very first time? Does the sky grow dark? Does the ground begin to rip open at your feet? Or do you choke on the stench of the souls that are already gone? Goldberg, this Friday, you will get the answer to all of those questions. But when I stand across the ring for the very first time, I don't want Goldberg, the family man that has his wife and son looking up, beaming with joy. No, I want the unstoppable, mythical icon Goldberg. I promise you this, if you bring anything less, our first match will be your last. I will open the gates of hell and unleash an inhumane level of brutality for which you have never felt. When the Reaper beckons, you will answer his call. I will claim your soul for all of eternity. Goldberg, you're next. And the show instantly goes off the air. Right up to the last second they could have been on the air. Show instantly goes off the air. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was tonight's Monday Night Raw. I thought it was maybe a little bit better than last week's show. Could have been better as far as a go-home show for a quote-unquote WrestleMania caliber event. I mean, why is it WrestleMania caliber? Because it's got the same stage? So anyways, with that, I want to hear what you guys have to say now. I want to hear your thoughts on tonight's Monday Night Raw. And you can do so by calling into the show at 559-475-8473. You can also text into the show at 510-906-1341. So we do have a couple of text messages here already. This person here says, if I can get it to load, do you think they are pushing Lacey Evans in a similar way as Rousey? I mean, because Becky and Charlotte once again have a common enemy. No, I don't think it's anything similar to Rousey at all. Rousey was getting pushed, like she was, because she was a name and a draw and a moneymaker. Lacey Evans ain't making no merch money. Or at least they ain't making money off the merch. This person says, where are the Raw tag titles? Doesn't matter anymore. I can't read this. Where are the Raw tag titles? Doesn't it mean anything? Not to Vince. Vince hasn't cared about the tag team divisions for over a year. Other person says, who do you think will be next to face Samoa Joe? That's a really good question. I would hope maybe Ricochet once he's done with Cesaro. Those would be some really good matches. This person says, what's your predictions for the cash-in? I will talk about that Wednesday when Nick and I do our Super Showdown predictions. With that, let's take a call. Caller in the air, what's going on?
Hi, this is Rachel from Tacoma, Washington.
How you doing?
And I have two questions to ask.
Go for it.
Okay, the first question is, Matt Riddle he said he'll see you on Monday on Twitter. So
right.
my thinking is, because Matt Riddle really wants to face Brock Lesnar, so either this is my prediction for what might happen at the Super Showdown. Maybe Matt Riddle might cost Brock Lesnar his title, and those two could start feuding. Do you think that will happen?
Highly doubt it. All this Matt Riddle, Brock Lesnar stuff is just Matt Riddle goofing around on Twitter. I honestly don't think, I could be wrong, but I honestly don't think it's going to lead to anything.
And also, do you see, I think Charlotte and I think Charlotte and Lacey Evans should become a tag team, or Alexa Bliss and maybe not Nikki Cross, if she is the good side of Nikki Cross. Maybe they should become tag team champions, or something like that. Do you see that happening?
There's a better chance of Nikki and Alexa, because we've already established that Lacey Evans and Charlotte don't like each other, whatever. But as far as right now goes, though, last I heard, Alexa is not cleared to do matches. Like what she did tonight is it. That one little drop kick to Billie Kay, that's it. She can't do anything else. She's not cleared. At least as of last week. I don't know if anything changed this week, but as of like late last week, she still wasn't cleared to actually do matches. So I think it'd be cool to see Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss as a tag team. Be something different. Maybe finally, maybe give them the tag team titles or something. But as far as Lacey Evans and Charlotte, I don't see them. I could have a week ago maybe seen them become a tag team. But now it looks like they're going in a direction of they're so similar that they're going to be opponents.
Okay, and one more question. Who do you see Bayley feuding with right now?
I want to say thank you for the call. So the caller asked, who do I think Bayley can feud with? Since she is the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. And that's a tough one because, Bayley's the babyface. So you got to look at who are the heels on SmackDown. And I almost have to look at the roster itself to see what heels are actually on SmackDown. So let's pull up the SmackDown Live roster. Current superstars, SmackDown Live. I don't even know what female heels are on SmackDown other than Charlotte. As I look at this roster here, there's Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, but they're a tag team. Carmella's a babyface. Ember Moon's a babyface. Kairi Sane's a babyface, but she's a tag team with Asuka. Liv Morgan ain't being used. Mandy Rose, maybe? That's the only thing. And Stoner Phoenix in the chat says the same thing. Mandy Rose. It's the only heel other than Sonya Deville on SmackDown that I can really see them going with if it's not going to be Charlotte. If it's not going to be Charlotte, then it's got to be Mandy Rose. It's the only thing I can think of. But let's take another call. Call, you on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Jim. I got a couple of questions.
Go for it.
Where has the Raw Tag Team Championships been? I was just wondering.
Chilling backstage with Hawkins and Ryder as they do their figures podcast.
They've been doing their podcast?
Oh, they do their podcast every single. They don't miss a week of that toy podcast, which is actually really good to listen.
All right, I was just wondering if I wanted them to search or something, if that's why they haven't been on the shows.
No. Well, as far as I know, neither are injured, neither is hurt. It's just that they don't have any plans for them, even though they put the titles on them.
Okay, and that Randy and Triple H segment, that kind of made me laugh.
Oh, I loved it.
With Randy and Triple. Yeah, me too. And is Brock really going to catch him on Friday, or is that him just being...
I would be more surprised. I would be less surprised if he didn't. At this point, I can really see him not cashing in on Friday. Teasing it, and even coming down to the ring with it, and then going, never mind.
And a couple more things. And with that Bray Wyatt promo, with that other person there, could that be Harper, or is that just a random...
I think it was just a random. I think it was just a random. That's what I thought of it.
And another thing, but one last thing, maybe. Do you think Undertaker or Goldberg's going to win?
I'm not going to predict that yet because I want to hear what Goldberg says tomorrow. Because I don't know how the Goldberg interview is going to go, and WWE has not announced Undertaker for SmackDown, but the actual arena itself in Laredo, Texas is advertising Undertaker. So I want to see if Undertaker does actually show up tomorrow to go face-to-face with Goldberg before their match. So we'll see. I'm not going to predict anything now because, again, I want to hear what Goldberg has to say and then see how the two promos do go up against each other and then make my prediction off of that because there's really nothing else to go off of.
All right. Well, thanks.
All right. Thanks for the call and have a great night.
Bye.
All right, let's just jump in and take another call. Caller in the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim, what's going on?
Not much.
Well, I want to say something about Raw tonight. Raw, it had its potential. It just didn't deliver. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I totally agree.
Like, I mean, the Undertaker segment, I mean, that's the Undertaker being the Undertaker. And then the whole Brock thing actually, you know, it actually interested me because, you know, it's Brock Lesnar, so it interests me. And the whole, you know, Ricochet and, you know, sorry, you know, they never disappoint or anything. But
Oh, no, those two always, I mean, we've seen them do, 3 matches now, and they've all been really, really good?
And yeah, you say it's gonna get stale or something, but that was technically the rubber match, so I understand, you know, why they would do it. But hey, a couple weeks ago we talked about that 24/7 title, and I said it's kind of funny, but now, you know, 2 weeks, you know, in this whole title thing, and even though they don't need another title, I truthfully, Tim, I enjoy the 24/7 title. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like it doesn't need to be anything good, but you know, they're doing what you said. You know, post a random video on like a Sunday.
And that's what I like. I'm
you know?
gonna tell you 2 things: one that I like and one that I don't like on this 24/7 title. So I like the whole random online video. Title can change hands any place, anytime, any day. I like that because, A, with social media now, it kind of differentiates it from the hardcore title when you only saw something happen during a Raw or a SmackDown or a pay-per-view. Now, it can happen anytime, anywhere. The one thing I don't like is when all of a sudden we see Truth and then 10 guys are just rushing after him. Why aren't those guys fighting each other off at the same time to make sure they're the one that gets to Truth? Not, let's all jump him and then see who can actually pin him. That's the one thing I don't like with this, because you would think that you don't want to be running down with a group of people. You want to be running down by yourself to try and pin the champion. It's not like dogpile and whoever's on the bottom on top of Truth ends up winning. It makes no sense. So I like the random online stuff, and I have heard that they've got some really cool ideas going forward with that. But I just don't like the whole group of people coming down at one time. It would be better if it was 1 or 2 people. They fight each other off, and then they go
kind of follow up. Yeah.
Right.
And then extra couple people come up and they're fighting for it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be super sad when R-Truth actually gets the title taken off him, because I feel like it's almost perfect to have him.
Oh, right now, yeah.
Because that's a way to show off his comedy, but like still be like, he's not taken serious, but at least he's a champion of some sort, you know?
Right, and the thing with Truth is we've always heard it, and we even heard it in the Jon Moxley interview, that R-Truth is somebody that he actually enjoys being in WWE, and whenever they ask him to do something, he gets a script, he gets whatever, he's always like, all right, how can I do this the best? He never, according to Jon Moxley, he literally said, Truth is the one guy that I can say never complains, always tries to make everything he does the best he can do, and just always goes with it. And we see that with all the stuff that he's been doing since the 24/7 championship did become a thing, and him doing all the wacky, I guess you could say, little skits as the champion.
And I respect R-Truth. You know, I mean, he's got to be almost 50, and he can still
48.
You know, go with. He's 48, yeah, and he can still go with the guy in their 30s or early 40s.
I believe he's the same age as Jericho.
Yeah, I mean, I think Goldust, he can. I mean, he's getting older, but he can still go. I mean,
to an extent, maybe not as much as a Jericho or Truth, but he could still go.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, in kayfabe, I was joking with my dad. I'm like, in kayfabe, Brock Lesnar is the dumbest person ever to not cash in tonight.
Very, very much so.
My dad goes, he cares more about the damn briefcase than the belt if we're keeping kayfabe. I'm like, oh, I know, but anyway,
that whole I'm gonna wait to cash in, even though I can pin him right now, really confused me in where they're going with this, and that's why I believe that he can show up at Super Showdown and be like, I changed my mind again. Because remember last week when he goes, wait, I can wait a whole year? So that's why I was like, why are they rushing it all of a sudden?
I have no hope for Lesnar to cash in Friday.
Me neither.
I mean, it would be unique if he did, and you know me, I'm gonna get up in my seat like, oh my God, he's gonna cash in, but he's really not.
Right.
So, all right, well, have a good night, Tim.
You too. Thanks for the call. Have a great night. With that, got a couple more questions in the text messages. If you want to send in a text, you can do so at 510-907-1341. If you want to call us, you can do so. 559-475-8473. Person here says, where's the LP going to return? Well, they can return at any time. I think it was Razor was the one that was out with an injury. And according to a report last week, I can't remember exactly who it was from. It might have been PW Insider. He's cleared. He's ready to go. ALP can come back at any time. This person here says, have you heard anything more on Seth Rollins' condition or find more tomorrow morning? So as far as the quote-unquote Seth Rollins injury, it's all storyline. He's not really hurt as far as I know. And we'll see where it goes. Hopefully they don't. Here's my one thing that I don't hope they do. Hopefully they probably will wait till after SmackDown. Hopefully they don't do a whole, oh, well, Seth Rollins was hurt too badly in the beat down by Brock Lesnar on Monday, so he's injured and can't go to Saudi Arabia or can't go to Jeddah. Hopefully that doesn't happen, and then we end up getting like Baron Corbin versus Brock or something at Super Showdown. Hopefully this wasn't a way to write Seth off of that show. I hope not. As far as the people in the chat asking about Mickie James, there was an injury scare over the weekend. Mickie James was in a match with, I can't remember exactly who, but the match was stopped early with a thought that she may have injured her knee. She did not work Sunday night, but instead she went to the beach. So she was feeling well enough to go to the beach. She just didn't work to I guess you could say, rest it up in case it was hurt. But as we've heard, or haven't heard anything as far as if she's actually injured. Last I heard, it was just a scare, and that she should be okay, and it's nothing to be worried about. So with that, let's take our final call of the night. Caller in the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim, it's New Jersey again. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Relaxing, enjoying the show as usual. I'm going to try to keep it short this time. As last time I called, I took up a good...
Not a problem.
Oh, my bad about that.
Not a problem.
All right, thanks, buddy. So, quick couple of questions. Number one, do you see Juice Robinson losing to Moxley on Wednesday? Second question is, do you have any expectancies in regards to Kazuchika Okada and Chris Jericho? Third question is, how long until Vince McMahon runs out of his little bag of tricks in regards to showcasing people like Goldberg, Undertaker? Because, listen, let me tell you something. Father Time is real, and Father Time could be really cruel. You know what I'm saying?
So in regards to your questions, you got any more?
Yeah. I have one more question. Now, this is based on my personal experience and also based on what I'm observing outside of my personal experience as well. And it's in regards to New Japan and Ring of Honor. And basically what I'm saying, or what I'm asking is, do you think that at this current time and point, do you think Ring of Honor would be quote-unquote successful if not for them having a partnership with NJPW? And I ask this also due to the fact that I went to G1 Supercard back in April.
Okay.
And there was mad love shown for the people from New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, mad love for Naito, Koda, Okada, Minoru Suzuki. And I'm not saying that the Ring of Honor people were disregarded, but you could just tell that most of the fans who went to this show, most of the attendees, went for the sure fact that New Japan guys were going to be there.
100%.
And I think that they're the ones that moved the ticket sales too, Tim.
You know, to be honest, I think the ticket sales were moved because Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody. Those tickets went on sale before. The tickets did go on sale before we knew that they were 100% leaving Ring of Honor and New Japan. So I think the thought of seeing them in Madison Square Garden may have sold most of the tickets, but also knowing that you could see Okada, Tanahashi, Jay White, all those New Japan guys. And like you said, no disrespect or disregarding the Ring of Honor guys, but if Ring of Honor just tries to go their own separate way and not work with New Japan, I think it's going to hurt them a lot, not having the New Japan guys working their shows as well. And I know, there's been talks of AEW wants to work with New Japan, but New Japan has been loyal to Ring of Honor. They want to keep up that loyalty, and that's why they're sticking with Ring of Honor, because Ring of Honor helped get them into Madison Square Garden. I don't think New Japan would have been able to run Madison Square Garden if it wasn't for Ring of Honor and their, I guess you could say, executive team and their lawyers making that happen. Now, in turn, like we stated, I don't think New Japan or Ring of Honor themselves, if there was no Cody, was no Bucks, no Kenny, no New Japan, I don't think they would have sold that building out. They probably would have done okay, but it would not have been a sellout.
Right. I absolutely agree 100%. So what about in regards to the other questions? So if you need a refresher,
your question. Well, the first one I want to quick answer. Here's the one about Vince and his bag of tricks. Money talks. Undertaker could have easily said, no, I can make even more money traveling around doing these, interviews and podcast style things. But Vince said, hey, I'll pay you this much to sit home and work one match, maybe two matches. Money talks.
That's a good point. But again, eventually, the body, man.
But then again, this match can go 90 seconds on Friday, and both men could literally have to do nothing. It could be
if you're. Go ahead.
I was just saying it could be like an old WCW Goldberg match where you go in there, you butt the heads, one guy hits a big move, boom, you're done.
If you're a wrestler, young, up and coming prospect, you have all of these dreams, and you think about being main stage, being showcased, and you see that the roster's being taken up by people like Bill Goldberg, like a Brock Lesnar, people who really have done it all, and necessarily, again, and this is only my point of view, at this day and age and at this point, wouldn't benefit from shit.
Here's the thing, though. Brock is a moneymaker. Brock's merch sells very well. Ratings are most of the time. Now, I don't know how they're going to be this week because this is actually the third week in a row we've gotten Brock on television. But when they do space out Brock's appearances, they're usually higher rated shows. So Brock, in that regard, is worth what they're paying him there. He sells the merch, even though he's a heel. He gets the ratings up. I'm not saying he gets great ratings because they don't get any good ratings right now, but he does bring the ratings up slightly. And the same thing with The Undertaker. The Undertaker always gets a great reaction from the fans. The fans always love to see him on television. And we'll see how it goes for Goldberg tomorrow. We haven't seen Goldberg since, 2017? So we'll see how the fans react to Goldberg tomorrow. I could see them reacting well.
Yeah, most likely they will. I mean, they've always been received pretty warm. I'd say Taker more than Goldberg from what I hear on podcasts. Because I can't, Tim. I can't do it, bro. I listen. You got my respect and you got my blessings for sitting through those shows, man. You really do. And really, I hope. Did you go to the house show yet? When was it that you said you were
I'm going Saturday night or Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah, man. I listen. In spite of how I came at a couple of people, I guess last week with my mini rant, I really do hope you have fun though, man. No
Should be.
lie.
We're taking the kids and everything, so it's really more about them just having fun. This will be my son's third time and my daughter's first time going.
That's awesome. I hope they have a ball, man, and they're probably gonna get some T-shirts or something. So that this overall have fun, man.
Right. And as far as your New Japan questions,
yeah.
So I think Moxley has not stated if he's working anything other than this one match, but in the Wade Keller interview, he basically said that he is, but not allowed to announce it because he was asked, do you have anything else with New Japan going forward, or are you not allowed to say or whatnot? And he was like, well, that's just for me to know. So I believe that he may be working more New Japan. He could be. There are talks of maybe him being in G1 and stuff, and I think New Japan would be silly to not put the title on him. It would get them so much buzz. It would get them so much publicity with, oh my God, Jon Moxley, his first match since leaving WWE, he's a champion. They put the title on him. And Juice is such a big star, even in Japan, it's not going to hurt Juice, because Juice can always come after G1. Maybe Juice can get his win back in G1, which ultimately gets him that title shot, because as we see, usually if a champion gets beaten G1, it sets up the next challenger. So maybe if Moxley works G1, then Juice beats him, Juice gets the championship match, Juice can get the title back after G1. As far as Jericho Okada goes, I think it could be a very, very good match. I just don't see them putting the title on Jericho.
No, I definitely see Okada getting this one.
Right.
And he's a workhorse, man. I had for me it was such a privilege to see him wrestle live, because currently, and everyone has their favorites, but Okada is without a doubt my favorite in-ring performer at this point. My favorite guy on the mic, MJF.
MJF's gold on the mic.
I love him. He's the man. But anyway, Tim, thank you so much for taking my call, man. Much blessings to you, man.
Not a problem. Thanks for the call, and have a great night.
Buddy. You too, my man.
All right, so with that, it's going to wrap up tonight's show. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched the show live, who was here in the live chat, everybody who watched it back right here on YouTube, and everybody who listened to the audio version either on iTunes, either on Google Play Music, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and other platforms out there. Also, if you guys want to become a member of Pro Wrestling Unlimited's YouTube channel, a sponsor, a subscriber, a top-tier subscriber, as some may say, you can do so by hitting that join button. What that will give you is exclusive and early access content. We actually have some early access content already up for subscribers, for, I guess you could say, members, as YouTube calls it. It will also give you the opportunity to use exclusive emojis in the live chat and in the comment section. It will also give you a badge next to your name, depending on, the badges will change depending on how long you have been a subscriber or a member, whatever you want to call it. It's only going to cost $4.99 a month. It supports us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited to keep on giving you guys even more content than we're already giving you. So again, just hit that button right there that says join, or hit the link in the description below right next to where it says join now, and help us out. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. You can follow me on Twitter at TimmyBuddy. And tomorrow, we'll be live doing this all over again after SmackDown. Have a good night, guys.